Hey, what's up, everyone? Ralph here. So let's talk about this new minimum wage law that's going to take into effect in California. So back in September 2023, Governor Gavin Newsom created this FAST Act law, right? That requires any fast food chain restaurant with at least 60 or more locations, they have to raise their minimum wage to $20. I think it was at 16, but they have to raise it to $20, and that has to be done by April 1st. So that's just a few days away as of this video. So unfortunately, there are consequences to this, right? And the unfortunate thing is that for a lot of people that support these minimum wage increases, they don't understand business, and two, they don't understand the economics, right? They just think like, you know what, it's not fair that, people can't survive off their income, which we wish, like in a perfect world, we'd all wish for that to happen. But we would all wish for people to be able to have a job, work comfortably, and then be able to buy the basic necessities in order to live, and we'd all want that. But that's just not the way the world works. When you artificially increase minimum wage like that, these companies have to do one or two things, right? Because they got to hit their profit margins, right? If they don't hit profits, there's no business, then nobody's working. But they're going to do one or two things. They're either going to increase the goods and services of the products that they're selling, and you see that in California, where a Big Mac meal costs like $18, right? So they have to hit their profit margin. So they're going to increase the cost of goods and services, or they're going to lay people off. And that's what's gonna happen with a lot of people, and they do both. They either do one or two things, or they do both. They increase the cost of goods and service, or they're gonna lay people off, and that's what's happening. And it's just weird because when you look at these politicians, it's like, do you even know this? Do you understand the consequences, or maybe you don't care? Maybe you understand the consequences, and you want people getting laid off, so that's more people depending on the government, and that obviously keeps you in power. And it's a shame because we want people to be able to survive, like be able to live, right? Be able to afford the bare necessities in life, but that's just not the way the world works. And when you're fighting for these minimum wage increases, all you're doing is setting yourself up for failure, because in the end, you're just setting yourself up to lose your job. Because what these companies are going to do is going to get to a point where they can't afford labor, and what they're going to do, and you see it already happening in a lot of these fast food chain restaurants, they're automating everything. They got kiosks. Like when you go into order, you're not even dealing with people anymore. All you're doing is going to the kiosk and taking your order. That's going to be the future if it continues this way. These companies are going to find a way to hit their profits, to make their money. And if they have to eliminate the labor, I don't think that's what they want to do, right? But unfortunately, when you have politicians that implement these laws, they have no other choice but to just say, you know what, I gotta hit my profit. So let's, and instead of having people, we're gonna replace them with machines, and that's what you see happening all over the place. So all you're doing is forcing people to lose their jobs, and then and have machines replace them, and there's just more people not working and being unproductive in our society, which is not good. So you see this article, right? Let's just watch this video real quick with about obviously Gavin Newsom talking about this new law that's going into effect. So let's play that real quick.
This is a big deal. $20 an hour, 80% of the workforce. There's a lot of mythology about fast food. Johnny used to learn the value of hard work. He'd work a few hours in his first job. That's not the case, folks. That's a romanticized version of a world that doesn't exist. 80% of the workforce in these fast food places, 80% are people of color. Two-thirds are women.
And that's the issue. He talks about how, obviously when it comes to fast food, these jobs were made for just people getting out of high school, right? These are low skilled jobs. You shouldn't be a functioning adult with a family working at a fast food restaurant, because it's a low skilled job. It's meant for a person coming out of high school. And these are the people that should be working at jobs, because they don't have that much responsibility where they have to worry about family, a house, cars. They don't have these things. These are just a way for them to make income and climb up the ladder and build themselves up into being a productive member of society. But now you have adults with families living in, and you can't survive off of this income. And you see him talking about that. It's not meant for people with families and with a lot of responsibility, because it's a low income job. You can, especially in California, you cannot survive off of a fast food income. It's just not. It's impossible. You can't do it. I don't even know how you can't even survive, right? So it's meant for these for these kids that just getting out of college or getting out of high school, and they can get into the labor force and be productive members of society. But now you have families working in there, and they can't afford. You can't develop a family. You can't provide for a family with one of these low skilled jobs, and that's the unfortunate thing. But what people do is just like, you know what? I got a family to feed. I gotta pay bills, and they like, you know, I need more money. So what they do? They fight for the minimum wage, when all they're doing is setting up their downfall. Because what's going to happen, like I said, is that these companies are going to find a way to automate the labor. They're going to get rid of people, and they're going to get machines in there, and you're going to be out of a job. And then they don't have to worry about minimum wage anymore. So you gotta understand, like it's not something. It's not. I know we all want people to survive off these things, but it's just not the way it's supposed to be. So let's continue.
This is going to help continue to pay our bills, help some people get out of eviction, help us catch up where we need to catch up, because we haven't recovered from COVID just as of yet. So this is just the beginning of our wins.
It's the beginning of the end. Like it's just the beginning of you losing your job, because you're going to lose your job. That's exactly what's going to happen. They're going to automate you, and then you're not going to be able to pay any of your bills. And that's the sad part, because you can understand what these people are going through. You can understand the struggle, right? You need more money. So hey, what do you do? Get these politicians to create laws where you can make more money. And you're like, oh my God, I went from $16 to $20. You're like, yes, that's exactly what I need. But then what you don't understand is that just means that the products of the goods and services around you are also going to increase. So that $20 raise is not going to be enough. And then a couple of years down the line, you're going to be asking for more. You're going to be saying, all right, $20 is not enough. Then you'll raise the 25, and 25 it'll never be enough, because that's just not how business and economics work, right? You increase the cost of labor, then what they're going to do is just increase the cost of the goods and services. And it's unfortunate. So let's get into this article real quick and see what they got to say. So it says, fast food workers are losing their jobs in California as more restaurant chains prepare to meet a new 20 minimum wage set to go in effect next week. Restaurants making cuts are mostly pizzerias. According to a report published by the Wall Street Journal, multiple businesses have planned to axe hundreds of jobs as well as cut back hours and freeze hiring, the report shows. Democratic Governor Newsom signed the FAST Act back in September to require fast food chains with 60 or more locations nationwide to meet the wage increase after labor unions fought for it alongside the healthcare industry, which also sees a boost in earnings in June. And that's the thing that pisses me off, because these politicians, they know this, right? But they understand, like, hey, I'm gonna fight for your minimum wage increase. They do it because they do it for votes. They don't care about the consequences of people losing their jobs. They don't care, because they want to make sure they stay in power. They want to make sure they get votes. So they'll say, you know what? Hey, look it, I'm gonna fight for you. You make $16 an hour. You can't pay your bills. What we're gonna do is I'm gonna fight for a law to get you $20 an hour. And of course, you're a person that's struggling. You're like, oh my God, thank you, yes, please. When in reality, the future is not gonna be looking good. They're gonna set you up to fail, because in the end, you're gonna lose your job. And then what's this gonna be? You're gonna be unemployed and depending on the government, which is probably what they want. So, all right, so this is a big deal, Newsom said. So then it goes, bye-bye. It says, all right, so Pizza Hut announced cuts to more than 1,200 delivery jobs in December. Right, so they were already preparing for it. So it says, previously, reporting by USA Today shows some Pizza Hut franchises in California also filled notices that the state saying they were discontinuing their delivery services entirely, according to Fox Business. The franchisee is transferring their delivery services to third party. While it is unfortunate, we look at this as a transfer of jobs. Pizza Hut told Fox, as you know, many California restaurants operators are following the same approach due to rising operating costs. Roundtable Pizza will lay off around 1,280 delivery pizzas this year in the Golden State, and Excalibur Pizza has plans to cut 73 driver jobs as well as 20% of its workforce in April, as state filing obtained by the Wall Street Journal. All right, so it says, all right, so no exemptions. So it says, the legislation indicated that businesses that feature ice cream, coffee, boba tea, pretzels, and donuts could meet the definition of fast food restaurants covered by the law, according to National Review. The law could extend to similar businesses that provide things like sweets and drinks. So Greg Flynn, who has a monopoly over Panera Bread, and this is the issue, because if you remember the news, they were talking about how this guy Panera, who owned Panera franchise, that the law didn't excluded him, and people complain about it, like, why is Panera exempt from this minimum wage law? And you find out that guy Greg Flynn, I think he's friends with Gavin Newsom. So, but I think eventually he wasn't exempt. So it says, all right. So Panera franchise in California tried to get out of the state's new mandate earlier this year, according to Bloomberg, holding fast food to a loophole, and restaurants making in-house bread do not have to boost employee earnings. Newsom's office called this claim absurd, telling the Los Angeles Times that the restaurant chain would see no such exemption. All right, so it says Chipotle CFO Yahoo Finance that the company will be forced to increase their prices to comply with minimum wage increases and yada yada yada. So yeah, so all these fast food chain restaurants are gonna get hit with this, and all you're gonna see is people losing their jobs. Right? They already see companies already doing it. They're laying people off. They're cutting their services. What they're trying to do is just cut costs as much as they can. And labor is usually the most expensive cost that businesses have to incur. So what you have to do is you're going to cut costs. You're going to find a way to reduce your costs so you can hit your profit margins. Right? I know a lot of people don't like that. But I mean, when you create laws like this and you have government manipulating the money, making things more expensive, it just creates this flow of just people burden that everybody has to deal with when it comes to dealing with costs, and companies are going to try to hit everybody's looking out for themselves, right? These companies are trying to make their profits. Individual citizens are trying to find a way to just live life, get their basic needs when it comes to food, housing. So everyone's looking out for their interests, and all it does is just creates this issue that everyone is just like, there's not enough. I need more, and it's a tough situation. So when you have politicians like this out here making laws that's making it difficult for everyone else, it just hurts society as a whole. And I wish people would more understand like the way that economics and business works. But when people are just looking out for their own interests, which makes sense, you get situations like this. So I'm interested to hear your thoughts. Make sure to leave a comment down below, hit the like button and share, and if you haven't done so already, make sure to subscribe. All right, so guys, take care and have a good one. Later.